This is the final word, Pakistan Daily, coming to you from a sunny afternoon at the National Stadium in Karachi. Everything's sunny here. It's always sunny in Karachi. Well, it was pretty sunny for Australia today. Let's find out what happened. I'm Geoff Lemon, that's Adam Collins,
Hello.
and he's going to tell you all about an entire day's Test cricket in the space of 30 seconds.
A day where a lot happened. Australia added 51 in 9 overs this morning. Pat Cummins went bang, bang, bang. Then he declared. Pakistan lost 1 wicket before lunch. Shafiq was run out by Mitch Swepson on debut. After lunch, the real action started. 6 for 62, principally via reverse swing. At one stage, Stark was on a hat-trick. He finished with 3 wickets in the session. They all got involved. All the three-seamers had some fun with the hooping ball. They finished off the job bowling out Pakistan for 148. They were in the lead by 408, but elected to bat a second time rather than enforcing the follow-on. They're 81 for 1 at the close of play with Labuschagne and Usman going nicely. They lead by 481 or something like that. And tomorrow it's going to be all about what happens when they declare and Pakistan have to bat for a second time.
Oh, 40 seconds. You've blown it out.
A lot happened.
You had a lot of wickets to go through.
Did I get it right? Did they lead by?
I think you got it right.
Enough.
The only thing you didn't say was Australia made 556.
Yeah, you would have required someone adding the 51 in 9 overs to the 505 for 8 overnight. I did.
Yes.
There was that assumed knowledge.
Yes, you've got to do that yourself. We're not here to spoon feed you on the final word. We are here to make you do your own digesting, which we've had some issues with ourselves over the last couple of days. When you're bringing up a piece of raw onion 24 hours after you ate it and you're like, how are you not digested? Like, I recognise you. You're that piece of raw onion. Anyway, Australia, they started this morning and I think we thought they're just going to bat until they're out because why would they still be batting otherwise? But Pat Cummins obviously had 550 in his head, hit 3 sixes, got him to 556, made 32 not out, did he? And Mitchell Swepson had a little bat. He made 15 not out. Schweppo. Why does everybody say Swepson?
Because of Schweppes.
Because of Schweppes.
It's absolutely the brand. If you're listening out of Australia, this will mean nothing to you, but the 80s and 90s are Schweppescence and Schweppes classic catches and all the rest of it. I find it very hard to say Swepson because of Schweppes. And Schweppes is a harder word to say than Sweps.
It is, and yet we all volunteer to say it. It was a brand of soft drink. If you're unfamiliar with it, they made lemonade and they made it in those nice glass bottles with the condensation on the outside and the bubbles on the inside. Oh, slaked your thirst. I wonder if Schweppes still exists. Send us some money.
Schweppescence.
Look, Swepson with no Schwepp. You know, he hit a boundary. He made 15 not out. He looked pretty happy out there. Mitchell Stark got out early. But, yeah, Pat Cummins hitting some sixes. That was good to see in itself.
Dingers.
He's been very sort of cautious with the bat the last couple of years and hasn't made many runs and since he batted so well in 2018 at times. But on they went, 5-5-6. And then Pakistan came out. They got to 26, the opening partnership, I think, from memory. And they batted for a while and he thought, well, this is just going to be more of the same today, right? They're going to grind along today. They might lose a couple of wickets, but it's pretty hard to take them on this pitch, blah, blah, blah. Maybe day 4 is when things will break up and start to move. And then the run out, the little dart, the little throw by Swepson, the direct hit, bang. And then after the break, I mean, Azhar Ali comes down the wicket and plonks Nathan Lyon for 6 down the ground. And they did this in Rawalpindi successfully. And then Imam says, well, I'll do the same thing, put the pressure on the premier spinner, all that. And he cluffs it and he hits it to mid-on. And suddenly it opened up.
It did. This is the mistake they didn't make, or the fortune they had perhaps last week at Rawalpindi, where they never made a big mistake at a dreadful time when they were batting. I mean, it's not as though they didn't lose a wicket, but it's just like how they lost their wickets. It never felt problematic. Today it did. Either side of lunch, that run out Swepson. He bowled 1 over before that, so I suppose that nervous energy had been expelled. And the 15 not out that he made with the bat. Is that a half opportunity, something like that? And
that's
he tings
the
down
perfect
the stumps.
start for a debut bowler, though, isn't it? Get to bat first, so you get to do your weakest suit at 11. No one's expecting anything, and it goes okay. And then you contribute in the field before you really have to get into your work.
Well, that's right. So I think it was the first ball after his first over was completed, something like that. And after that, the game really did open up. And you refer to that turning point where Imam Al-Haq tried to replicate what Azhar Ali did, and it just didn't come off. I get the logic, but when those things don't come off, you have to wear the repercussions and be described as having stuffed it up. And they get that opening. At that point, it's 45 for 2. Now, that doesn't seem like an irreversible situation, but when you've got 556 that you're going after in the first innings, that feels like it may as well be 2 for none. And then the ball starts reversing, and credit to Pat Cummins. Perhaps the most important intervention of the day. Lyon bowls that one over, gets a wicket with the last ball of it, and then Cummins bowls the next over, in at Babar Azam, hits him on the pad via the inside edge, otherwise it was taking all 3 stumps out. And Cummins is like, hang on a minute, this is reversing already in the 20, let's call it 22nd over. I'm getting Stark on straight away. Even though Lyons has taken a wicket, got to get the big left armour on, and then all hell breaks loose. It's only within 20 or so minutes that they get 2 in, 2 balls. Azhar Ali steering a catch to Cameron Green, who took a blinding catch so close up due to the pitch here at Karachi. The slips cordons are inching closer and closer, and there's Green plucking one out of the air. And next ball, Fawad Alam, who had to wait some extraordinary amount of time to participate in this test series with the bat, has his front pad blown off first ball, and Stark's on a hat-trick, and he's ever so close to completing it as well, much as he was at the MCG late last year. And then from that point forward, it's about a disaster limitation for Pakistan, and they weren't able to achieve that either.
They did not limitate the disaster, if you will. That was a disaster of a sentence. Things just kept going wrong. It was Azhar Ali playing. I mean, he played a booming cover drive at one that Stark reversed away, and he missed the outside edge, and then he did the same thing in the next over and took the outside edge. You have to learn. You're 37. You have to learn. Mitchell Stark, the thing that he does when he's reversing it, because he's a left armour, is he reverses it away.
Yes.
We always think about reverse swing as hooping in to a right-hander and hitting middle stump or hitting them on the toe. Reversing it away makes it's a different kind of challenge.
Especially around the wicket.
Yeah, because he comes left arm around, angles it in, and then away it goes. And so he picks up nicks to the cordon like he did in Durban in 2018.
Yep.
Remember Duplessis and Tunis de Brain and
Absolutely.
a couple of others edging off after those ones that go away. And then he's got the left-hander, Fawad Alam, who gets the one that comes into him, and he's got that open stance. And, of course, everybody got stuck into his stance. Oh, well, he wouldn't have missed that if he didn't shape up like a weird clown. You're like, yeah, he's got such a weird stance that he's made 500s in his Test career. I mean...
Yeah, that he was in the ICC Team of the Year last year, that he made 3 tons, including one here at Karachi.
Yeah, obviously can't pat.
Very effective
obviously
player.
Weird stance.
I mean, he missed 11 years of his career with people saying that. Give the guy a break. You can get out first ball when you've got a hooping, reverse swinging ball at 145 clicks from Mitchell Stark. That just happens sometimes.
Yes, and it did happen on this occasion. And then there was another run out. There was Hassan Ali running himself out and literally came through for the single and just kept going straight off the field. I love it when they do that.
Yeah, just after tea that was. So there was a bit more that went on before the break. I mentioned 6 for 62, but Cummins gets Rizwan's edge. By the way, Rizwan running out for the hat-trick ball. You sometimes say, oh, gee, they were in a different set of clothes 3 minutes. I genuinely think Rizwan was in a different set of clothes 3 minutes earlier. He was moving out to the middle, and you could see him kind of attaching the straps to his pads properly and all the rest of it. So he saw off the hat-trick ball. Again, Stark around the wicket, tailing away, had to play at it, nearly feathered it through. That would have been very special not to be.
Then he edged one that was going straight to Carey, but Smith dived across him at first slip and palmed it over the top of Carey.
Yes.
Then I think the next ball, he defends it back down the pitch, and Mitchell Stark picks it up and lawn bowls it into the stumps, like a bit of draw on the shot. Steve Perella style.
Reverse, no, Robbie Perella. That would have been a drive had it been Robbie Perella.
Yeah.
He would have knocked a jack away. I used that plenty of times talking about the curling during the Winter Olympics. Believe me on that.
So curls around the front foot and then it hits the back leg in front of the stumps, and Stark turns around and appeals for LBW.
There was a bit going on.
There was a lot going on. That was in the space of 3 balls that all of that happened. So, yeah, look, we had a fun middle session just because it was all action.
Yeah, so just to go back to that Cummins dismissal of Rizwan, he didn't... Well, he did appeal. Sorry, that was the conventional one. Carey reviews later. What I wanted to note about that, Bharat Sundaresan, who filled in for you yesterday, made this point. That was a delivery that would have worked on any surface. What they did, again, using Bharat's words, they took the pitch out of the equation. We all thought when we went to bed last night, the precondition for this game speeding up was going to be the cracks opening up. In the end, the cracks opened up a little bit, but they weren't a factor. It was reverse swing. It was about using the conditions that were there, the arid pitch square. There's a dozen pitches here and none of them have a blade of grass on them, and that's the way they got the game to change. It was clever cricket, good decision making from Cummins, and also good reviewing. Carey, that last wicket before the tea interval, Sajid Khan, Stark didn't appeal, Carey went up, Carey sent it upstairs, and there's the spike. So when they go to tea at 7 for 100, they're in all sorts. Then Labuschagne,
well, that was that appeal. Look, that was one of those ones that it squares him up. His back leg comes around and he sort of comes across the ball, and I think it's hit the back corner of the back edge.
Yes.
And no one went for it. Stark said nothing. Carey didn't throw it up and celebrate. He just held the ball to Stark saying he's out. out, got him, like, not the big celebration, but the I know that he's edged this. No one else liked it. Warner at Slip didn't like it. They all went no, and Carey went yes, review. He made the sign himself to come on Sweat, do it, and they did it, and there it was.
Leadership right there from Carey. A more junior member of the team may not have the presence to sort of say, no, you've got to go upstairs for that.
That was his first bold review. Like, he's been very hesitant with reviews up until now. He's been
sign.
very new girl.
Well, runs yesterday, right? 93 yesterday. That'll only improve his position in the team as far as how he feels about himself. And then, just after tea, you mentioned the Hassan Ali run out. That's 3 for Labuschagne in 3 test matches. There was Rory Burns at Hobart. Last week it was Barbara Azam, and this time it was poor old Hassan Ali, who, as you say, ran straight off the field in that sort of performative way, didn't wait for the third umpire. I said on commentary it's the new Jonty Rhodes. Maybe I should have said it's the new Ricky Ponting. Either way, Labuschagne hits the stumps with ridiculous frequency.
What if we put them together? Ponty Rhodes.
Ponty Rhodes, there you go. Yeah. But, I mean, he's not just doing it when they're out, by the way. He's hitting the stumps all the time. So he's become such an asset in the covers. They don't use him at short leg anymore, which says a bit, I think. So, well played, Marnus Labuschagne, for being in the game again. He might come back in the Hall of Fame, I'm tipping.
Well, he did spend some time at short leg because
to the spin.
He was crucial. Okay, we didn't. This could probably be Hall of Fame as well. Abdullah Shafiq, when he got run out, he should have made it through for that single, except he had Lyons coming around the wicket.
Yep.
So which means that Shafiq's over on what is the leg side for Imam, who plays the ball away just sort of down the track, and Abdullah Shafiq heads off for his run, but he has to go around short leg because he hasn't moved across. He should have been a couple of metres over, but he's standing in line with the short leg. So he runs up, sees Labuschagne and goes, oh shit, and has to go around him and ends up on a diagonal, and thus he's run out. He would have made it home if short leg hadn't been in the way. But Labuschagne's on his hands and knees, like crawling around on the pitch, basically like he does after almost every ball in there, trying to get a tap back run out onto the stumps. So he's sort of forming this roadblock on all fours, and Abdullah Shafiq's gone, oh, and veered off, and he gets run out.
It reminds me of this really sad book that I read to Winnie called We're Going on a Bear Hunt. We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. Yeah. What a beautiful day. We're not scared. Ooh, grass, thick wavy grass. Yeah. Can't go over it. Can't go under it.
Have to go through it.
Got to go through it. Swish, swash, swish, swash. And there he's had to go through Marnus Labuschagne if there was any chance of getting to the non-striker's end in time. Not to be. See you later, Shafiq.
Well, you would have been proud because I did get a reference into Tim Watson jumping the pack
when he's 15 years old in the Escort Cup semi-final in 1977 or whatever it was.
When I was on with Peter Lawler, and we were like, we should have just jumped straight over the top of him. And I thought,
that would have gone well on SEN too, I'm tipping.
Yeah, one moment you're talking to Vakar Yunus about in-swinging reverse, then you're talking about Timmy Watson jumping the pack.
You could have done Buddy Franklin doing it against Collingwood a number of years later as well. Both work. Both work, all the same.
He's about to get 1,000 goals, Buddy.
Well, I might fly back for that, depending on the quarantine situation. Barbara Azam was Mitch Swepson's first test wicket. We already mentioned the run out, but that's a good scout. And I like the fact that it's Usman Khawaja who gave a speech that was, 10 times as long as the Gettysburg Address when he presented the baggy green. I've seen maiden speeches that are shorter than that in the federal parliament.
Well, the Gettysburg Address is pretty short.
That's one of the things, words, I think.
But they just get straight through it. Let's get to the point. Yeah. Let's beat the racists. Okay.
Well, in this case, there was a long presentation, and Usman Khawaja was a safe pair of hands at long off. You called that nicely, and then he also picked up Shaheen Sharafridi leg before wicket. I wouldn't say that Swepson set the world alight, but important run out, runs, couple of wickets. As Dan Breddick said on Twitter, stuff happens when leggies are in the team, and he's right, it does. So,
Mitch Swepson's on fire.
In the second dig, this is going way off the rails today. The second dig will be where Swepson, hopefully,
it's a terrible song.
Has more of
I hate that song.
How did it
so
win
much.
the hottest 100?
The worst. The worst song except. Who are the banjo guys? Little Lion Man. That was an awful one.
Yeah,
I
think from memory I didn't mind Little Lion Man. I feel bad for not remembering who that was. Mumford and Son. Yeah. They're cricket fans.
Yeah, but there's a tune, but it's such a self-pitying man song. You're like, oh, I did everything wrong. I'm so bad. You're supposed to pat them on the back and forgive them.
I mentioned a Triple J's Hottest 100 today. I came on after drinks and said it's been one crowded hour. They won the thing. Augie March in 2007. Hey, now we're just flexing. Let's come back to the cricket. All out 148. Then comes the big debate. Are they going to bat again, or are they going to have another Trundle, another guy Rundle straight away? We were both. Usually we are enforce it. Today we're like no. Because Bharat, again, I come back and race him because he's all over it with these types of matters. If you bat deep in the first inning, so deep that runs aren't a factor anymore. It's all about time and allocation of resources. The runs were irrelevant. It didn't matter they were ahead by 408. It was about how do you set it up so your bowlers are going to have the best chance to take 10 wickets to complete the test match. It doesn't matter whether you win by an innings or win by, let's pick a figure, 187 runs. A win's a win's a win.
I remember very well Dean Elgar at Joburg in 2018 when South Africa made about 600 and they were at a lead of 500, and people asked him why they batted on, and he said, a test match is 5 days. He said, we're under no obligation to win inside 5 days. We have 5 days, we're allowed to use them. And it's like, yeah, well, you do. Okay, when would you rather be bowling to win the match? When it's the 5th day and the pitch has fallen apart? Or when it's the 3rd day? Like, yeah, you've just got them out, but they self-destructed. Like, they ran themselves out, they played bad shots, all the rest of it. There's no guarantee that they'll bat that badly the second time around. When you put your quicks on with the new ball after enforcing the follow-on, they're already in their 3rd spell because they bowled 2 or 3, well, their 4th maybe. They bowled 26 overs between them by that point, Cummins and Stark. And you're saying, start again, please, and be as good as you were. And that means that if the other team gets through those first couple of spells, suddenly they're into their 6th and their 7th. Whereas you give them half a day off, you give them that extra time to rest and to get back into it, you guarantee that you will not be batting on the last day if something freakish happens. And even if you set 100 on the 15th session on this pitch, it could be really difficult. And you guarantee that your opposition's going to be bowling last. And people say, well, why not have more time to bowl them out? If you have more than 5 sessions, and the sports scientists and the people who know about this stuff will back this up. If you have to bowl more than 5 sessions at them, you will be bowling terribly, and your fast bowlers, your leading bowlers, will not be bowling anymore. They'll be too tired. If you can't bowl a team out in 5 sessions at the end of a match, there's no point having more time because you won't be able to get them out.
Yeah, there are times when the follow-on makes sense in the match situation. This clearly isn't one of them, and the science that you raise as well, or the sports science that we hear occasionally from those who are in the business, and I think it was a fairly sound decision. And there'll also be a bit of the Kolkata 2001, a reminder to some of the more parochial reply guys on Twitter. I promise you, Steve Waugh had 8 opportunities to enforce it after Kolkata. He did it all 8 times and they won all 8 test matches. That is not a thing. Australia stopped implementing the follow-on as often when they learnt about the way that bodies work a little bit better. And that's what we saw today. It's a resourcing issue. Another test match in Lahore next week, open and shut case. What it does do is create this junk time period. No one really enjoys watching what we did for the last 15 or so overs this evening. That's not the best of Test cricket, but we got that in the middle session. So, you win some, you lose some. Labuschagne, I think, is 37, Khawaja 35, maybe the other way around. Neither player will have time to reach 3 figures, so we can probably squash dreams of Khawaja reaching twin tons.
I mean,
If Khawaja teed off today, he would have needed to have teed off today. They'll bat 10 overs tomorrow, maybe, not much more than that. They'll give themselves.
I think they'll bat a bit more because, 5 sessions would be more than enough. I reckon they'll bat an hour. He made a quick 100 in the second innings at the SCG.
He would need to replicate the second innings at the SCG. Okay. He could do it, but the point is they're not going to bat for longer than about 50 minutes or an hour because they'll get, let's say they replicate the declaration from today. That means after 20 overs, the session where it's done the most by way of reverse across the 3 days, they'll have the ball that's 20 overs old and that's when it's been reversing. So on that, I reckon, you're looking at, at best 40 or 50 minutes, something like that. And then they're back at it. So they'll end up 70-something each not out or some version of that, and they'll be happy and they'll shake hands and they'll walk off and they'll inflate their average as they are entitled to do in a situation like this. There are plenty of days when you walk out on a green top or on a bunsen when you're on a hiding to nothing. This is not one of those.
Why not? Why not put a few in the bank? A Hall of Fame is a Hall of Fame time. What happened today that was Hall of Fame worthy?
I took some notes. Can I thieve yours? You wrote it down. Well, I wrote it down, but you said it. So Fawad Alam, 329.1 overs in the field, then 264.4 overs watching them bat, and he was
before
out there.
He got in, before he came out for the first time,
and then he got
lasted
one ball. So that's yours, I suppose. Mine was Labuschagne.
I mean, cricket, it is a horrible game,
horrendous sport. Remembering he dropped a catch last week too. At least he took a catch tonight to get rid of David Warner. I felt some relief for him. With the ball in Australia's innings, let's disregard all the lovely work from the primary seamers. I love the fact that Labuschagne talked Cummins into having a trundle seam up. The guy is unbelievable. He gave me the big. Pete and I were down here on the balcony this morning, and he the big thumbs up, the peace signs. He was so happy after silking it up most of day one.
If he wasn't a cricketer, he'd be selling aluminium siding, and he'd be moving bulk. Like he would be shifting vast quantities of aluminium siding.
No, he's a happy man at the start of the day, and he'll end the day a happy one too for having gotten the bowl, executed the sharp run out, and not out 30-something at the close, where Australia end at 1 for 81. The lead is, as I say, I think it's 489 or thereabouts. It doesn't matter. The runs aren't important right now. That's probably where we should wrap it up. Thanks for your company. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing the podcast around and about. If you really like what we do,
send it to your friends. Why not?
You can do that. You can share it online. You can watch on YouTube. We're on cinematic mode again tonight. You can see this beautiful grandstand behind us. You can red and yellow and green and purple and
see
all
my
the rest
beautiful
of it.
Ansett Australia shirt.
T-shirt.
Original.
A ground.
Late 90s vintage.
Yeah, stunning ground here. So for all of those reasons and many more, subscribe on YouTube and watch us there. And that's it. Final Word Daily, Pakistan Daily. Adam and Geoff will be back tomorrow. Patreon.com/The Final Word if you really like us. Till tomorrow. Ta-da.